Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Beta and this is The Simple Budget. Here on my channel I show you how my family is using the zero-based budgeting method in order to maintain a simplified financial life. If that sounds like content that you're interested in, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button and join our little crew here. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. Well, hello everyone and happy bonus content Wednesday. I'm so excited to bring this video to you. It is so late in getting to you because this is actually the emergency fund Q1 update. And Q1 of a year, in case you are not in the know, is January, February, and March. So I'm literally 2 months late in getting this out to you guys, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, frankly. So now that I'm back on a normal schedule, you guys are actually going to get our Q2 update after June ends. So they're going to be kind of like back to back, but it's no big deal. For those of you who may be new to my channel, I'm going to just give you a little bit of a brief history of what we're all doing here. So in January of 2022, I think it was, no, I'm lying to you. January of 2023, I started this YouTube channel and my husband and I had just under $60,000 of consumer debt. There weren't student loans. It was literally just like credit cards and irresponsible purchases. It took us 17 months to pay that off. I will go ahead and leave my debt payoff video for you guys up in the corner there. And I think I also have a debt playlist as well. And I have an emergency fund playlist if you wanted to kind of play catch up on that. So what we're doing now is to save up 6 months of expenses in our high yield savings account to use as an emergency fund, literally just emergencies exclusively. For us, we had originally planned, and what I'll do is leave my 2025 financial goals video linked for you. We had originally planned to save up 3 months of expenses, put a little pause and do a little bit of house project work. And then once we got some things taken care of with our house that we wanted to do, we were going to revisit our emergency fund savings with the same intensity that we were saving up the first 3 months. With the shift in the election and the way that things kind of played out in the aftermath, as far as just like things felt a little uncertain in terms of job stability and all of those sorts of things. And so what we decided to do actually was to just save up all 6 months, because what we didn't want to happen was for Mr. Simple to lose his job. We are a single income household. I do earn an income from Etsy and YouTube. My Etsy shop is linked below if you're interested. But Mr. Simple is the sole wage earner in this household. If he loses his job, it is a catastrophe. So we decided, you know what, let's just save up 6 months of expenses, get that taken care of, and then we can just move on with our lives to other things. Because what we did learn in the process of paying down our debt was all of the effort, all of the extra money that you have in your household going toward that debt is the quickest way to eliminate it. And likewise, if you're saving for something, in my personal opinion, it is better to just snowball the thing that you're saving for. So all of the extra money, rather than taking little bits and pieces here and there and putting them toward different things, that works for sinking funds, obviously, and it works for your bills and expenses. You're not snowballing that away. But as far as things that you're saving for. So for just an example, we want to install a reverse osmosis water filtration system in our home. We want to have actually $10,000 set aside for a car, because our car, it's not coming toward the end of its life. It's a Toyota, but it's got over 100,000 miles on it. So as a just in case measure, we want to have $10,000 at least put aside for that. And then just there are other little house projects that we really want to take care of along the way. But rather than listing all of those and then putting little bits of money aside for each of those things. What we've decided that we want to do is just snowball each thing. So once we're done saving up for our 6 months of expenses as an emergency fund, then we will just chip away at our different house projects. We really liked that aspect of the snowball method, and we found it to be super duper effective in terms of making progress on a goal. So anyways, that's where we find ourselves now. I think, as I mentioned, I do have an emergency fund playlist, so you can go ahead and check that out in my playlists, and you'll be caught up to date as far as like what we've saved so far. But like I mentioned at the very, very beginning, this video is actually 2 months overdue. So without further ado, I'm going to just go ahead and jump in here to my budget planner. I have old versions of this linked in my Etsy shop as far as digital downloads that you can print yourself. I also have a digital budget planner that you can upload into a note share app as well to use. All of those things are in the process of being revamped right now, though. So just know that going into your purchase, they still function like they are now, but I'm giving them all a little facelift. So anyways, I'm going to just jump back here to my savings tracking. And what I'm going to do is zoom you guys in so that you can see all the numbers in my handwriting a little bit better, and we will get into the update. All right, you guys. So as you can see from looking at the page here, we are saving up for 6 months of expenses in an emergency fund. For us, we figure that's about $36,000. Everybody's way of handling this is a little bit different. Some people save what they make in an entire year or half of what they make in an entire year and use that. But that when we did the math on that, it just didn't really make sense for us. So you just do whatever is comfortable to you. But really just make sure that you're hitting the high points of your expenses, where you live, what you eat. And in our case, we actually still planned to fund Christmas, but just really minimize it. So just fund Christmas for our kids. If Mr. Simple were to happen to lose his job, insofar as it doesn't interfere with us eating. But our plan for the $36,000 is to cover us for 6 months for where we live and what we eat and Christmas if Mr. Simple happens to lose his job. So that's where we find ourselves. We finished 2024 having saved $14,525.10. With few exceptions, all of the interest money that we earn in our high yield savings account is added to our emergency fund. And frankly, with the way that rates are right now, it's been really beneficial. I think we're saving somewhere in the neighborhood of about $85 of interest a month. So that's just completely passive income that is rolling into our emergency fund just by virtue of the fact that we have a high yield savings account. We currently use CIT Bank because they have the highest interest rate if you have $5,000 or more to put into the savings account. But we have used Ally in the past, Marcus by Goldman Sachs. There are a few of them out there. And until the government starts messing with interest rates and things like that, high yield savings accounts are a really decent way of saving some extra cash every month, actually. So anyways, having said that, in January, we were able to add $3,466.12 into our high yield savings account. I think it was a magic month, which is why it was more than usual. Our goal is usually somewhere around $2,000. You'll see here, it's $1,400, $1,500. Sometimes that's just because the money wasn't added until the next month. Or sometimes it's because we're oh shoot, we forgot to save for this particular thing. So instead of putting $2,000 in high yield or toward our emergency fund, let's just do $1,500 and, use that extra money for the thing that we forgot to save for. So sometimes it was family was coming in out of town and we weren't really thinking about how to fund that sort of thing. So anyways, that was a lot of rambling. We finished January with $18,094.34, which was to me, it was every new balance is always one of those things where I'm this is so exciting. I get so excited every single time because I'm this is such progress. This is so exciting because we're not making as much progress on our emergency fund as we made paying down our debt, but that's also because I had a job outside of the home while we were working to pay down our debt. And I realized the luxury and the privilege of being able to say, okay, we're done with that now. But that was sort of the collective decision that we made. I think it was like a couple months after we paid our debt off. So, and that's why we're making less aggressive progress toward our emergency fund, but it's still working really well for our family. Next up, I have some notes here. So in February, we added $693.13 into our high yield savings. This is partially because, like I mentioned, sometimes our bank transfer doesn't go through actually until the next month. And so the money actually went in March, even though it was earmarked in February. It doesn't really matter to us because we update you guys quarterly anyway, so it's not like you're missing out on any important details. But also, we had a really rough February. Mr. Simple had a couple of different medical things that kind of popped up. Nothing serious. He's totally fine. But, you know, trips to the emergency room or trips to urgent care cost a lot of money for us. So that was a factor. And then it was either February or early March, and I can't really even remember, but it was February or early March where our garage door opener broke. And it turned out to be a flaw on the part of, it wasn't even a flaw. It was a really bad install on the part of our home builder. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but if you ever see a Lennar home for sale, run in the opposite direction as fast as you can. Lennar is a terrible home builder. Especially, they have a really bad reputation in DFW, Texas area, and so does D.R. Horton, from what I understand. But we are in a Lennar-built home, and I could not be more dissatisfied. I mean, I know all tract home builders are like not high quality, but we had some really less than stellar experiences just with this home alone. You guys will have to let me know if you want a video, like a story time video on that, because it was a real pain in the rear. Anyways, just preliminarily speaking, if you see a Lennar home for sale, run in the opposite direction, run. Anyways, so because of the poor install of our garage door opener, not only did there was a cord that was frayed because of the fact that they installed it properly and metal was rubbing on metal. I don't really know all the details, but I know that it was installed incorrectly. And as a result of that, our garage door opener broke. So we had to replace that. And one of the things that I can say to you guys, and I say this, I think, in all of the videos like this is, you know, I'm 40, Mr. Simple just turned 42, and we have been so incredibly, relieved of stress, actually, in a way that I just didn't even really anticipate, which sounds so silly, by the fact that we have money set aside for things like this. So even though it was frustrating that we didn't get to add as much into our emergency fund as we wanted to, the fact that we have an emergency fund sitting there for things like this is such a grantor of peace of mind that it almost offset the frustration of the fact that the garage door opener broke and we had to deal with it to begin with. It's just sort of one of those things what are you going to do? You know, you got to deal with it. You got to replace your garage door opener. And that was sort of the end of it. And I feel and those of you who've been through any sort of financial difficulty or you're either, whether that is from, of your own sort of, you haven't been taking care of your finances like you should, or you are just sort of struggling to make ends meet, the stress that an unexpected expense like that can put on you. And if you learn nothing from this video, please, please, please start today. Please start getting your finances in order. I can promise you that the dopamine hit that you get from spending money is nothing compared to the peace of mind that you get when everything is in order, an unexpected expense pops up, and you can just pay it. That is worth far more than your daily Starbucks, than your mani-pedi every month or every week, your wax, your massage, your new clothes, even having I know a lot of women get trapped by like status symbol things like brand of clothing, brand of bag, brand of car. Don't get trapped by that. It is such a trap. And again, if I can encourage you with anything, it is none of those things matter. None of those things are going to pay your bills for you. None of those things are going to Venmo the cash to the guy who comes to replace your garage door opener. You can't give him your bag. You can't give him your car. Well, I mean, he probably could. You can't give him these things that are giving you a very small dopamine hit. They're just not worth it. So please start today. Get your finances in order today. I promise you it is so worth it. So anyways, I'm done rambling. I always say that kind of stuff, but it has made such a significant impact in our lives. I just really want everybody to have this as well. Last up, I'm not going to show you anything below this because, we are now into the second quarter of the year, so I don't want to ruin the quarter two surprise. But for the month of March, we were able to transfer $1,752.06 into our high yield savings account for our emergency fund. And so finishing quarter one this year, we are sitting at $20,597.87. So we have, just under $16,000 left to save in order to get to our $36,000 goal, which is so exciting. And then this money just keeps sitting there and earning interest also. And the fun part about that is that once the emergency fund is saved up, we can just pass that money off into other categories of our spending, as opposed to having it all funneled toward our emergency fund. So that's fun because we can just kind of beef up other things, other categories in our lives that we feel may need a little bit of extra money from month to month. And that is the beauty of budgeting and passive income, frankly. So anyways, that is it for this update. I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys back out and then we will finish out the video. All right, you guys. Well, that is going to do it for me for today's video. I know I mentioned to you guys that this is actually this savings tracker is in my Etsy shop. It's available as a printable. So it's a digital download. You'll get a digital file and then you can print it yourself. But just the savings tracking section is available. And the cool thing about it is you can do the goal tracker, like the savings tracker, like I just was showing you guys with our emergency fund. But I also have a few savings challenges that are just part of this savings tracking as well. So if you are in need of something like this and you want to have like a nice little savings tracker that you can download and print yourself, it is live in my Etsy shop. It just doesn't have my new tweaks with it yet. So that is going to be coming in the month of June in case you're interested. So anyways, having said that, I hope you guys enjoyed this catch up, this emergency fund update. Again, like I said, the next one is actually going to be coming at the end of June so that we can update you guys on quarter two. And then I'll be back to like that normal quarterly update schedule. So anyways, if you enjoyed today's video, I would love it so much if you would give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. And I will be back here again with you guys on Friday with the weekly check-in. And if you happen to be new to my channel, as I always say, those videos are the bread and butter of budgeting, because if you're not tracking your expenses and holding your spending accountable, you are not going to be successful with your budget. You can have a great budget planned out, but if you don't hold yourself accountable with your spending, if you don't track your expenses and reconcile all of those purchases, the plan is for naught. So that's what I'll be back here with you guys again on Friday, going over what we spent this week and how I spent our money, because Mr. Simple is not the spender in the house, it's me. So anyways, you guys have a great rest of your Monday, and I will be back here with you again on Friday. Bye, everyone.